All right, happy Friday to you, and welcome to the video here today for July 1st, 2022. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal sports bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. And I'm currently 2-0 my last two board member tier package bets. And if you sign up for my board member package here today, not only are you going to get access to the board member tier package bet itself, you're also going to get access to every single bet, every single package, every single day, all the way till the 1st of August. It's a whole month worth of plays, and the link for that all-inclusive membership is in the description section below. Now, if you want to see my current sports betting record, you can do that for free right now by going to the homepage as well. It's right there on the homepage for everyone to see for free. Once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. The link for that site is in the description section below. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into our Friday slate. We're going to start off with the Red Sox taking on the Cubs, 2:20 p.m. East. Boston's -135, totals 9. Rich Hill for the Bo Sox, Adrian Sampson for Chicago. Now, Sampson's got just over 10 innings of work logged for the entire season. That is it. And I'll tell you what, if Boston can get to this Cubbies bullpen, just keep in mind that this is actually one of the worst pitching staffs in the National League right now. These guys are allowing nearly 5.5 runs a game, and as a whole, they're actually in the bottom 3 in homers allowed per contest. Now, the Cubbies have also been terrible at Wrigley Field. They've gotten the W in just 15 out of 41 home games. They're taking on a Boston lineup who just always seems to be on base. They're actually in the top 5 in the league in OPS, top 3 in team batting average. Rafael Devers is hitting .328 with 17 home runs. He's actually 3rd in the bigs in that batting average category. Meanwhile, Trevor Story's knocked in 52 runners. He's actually in the top 10 in runs batted in right now. Now, when it comes to the total, 4 out of Boston's last 6 road games got over the number. They also went 60% to the over in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, the Cubs on the other side, they saw 6 out of their last 10 ball games get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Boston -135 in the over 9. Next contest, it is going to be Rays Blue Jays 307 East. Toronto's -145, totals 9. Jose Barrios for the Jays, Corey Kluber for Tampa Bay. And even though Klubs has some fairly good numbers, he just can't seem to get the W this year. He's won only 3 games in 73 innings pitched, and obviously has a losing record. Now, the Rays also have a losing record as a team when they travel. They're currently in the bottom 5 in road scoring. Now, they're going up against Jose Barrios here today, who's got 64 strikeouts along with a 5-4 record. And even if Barrios ends up getting shelled, this is a Blue Jays lineup that can always keep you in ball games. Toronto's actually leading the league in OPS right now. And they're also in the top 5 in home runs. Now, Vlad Guerrero's hit 18 homers and knocked in 46. Meanwhile, teammate Alejandro Kirk, he's in the top 10 in the bigs in batting average and OPS as well. And when it comes to the total in this one, Toronto went 8-2 to the over in their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Toronto -145 in the over 9. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Cardinals Philly 605 East. St. Louis is -140, totals 9.5. Miles Michaelis for St. Louis. Bailey Falter for the Titans. Now, Falter is still in search of his first win of the season. The lefty's 0-2 with a .450 ERA and a 1.40 whip. Now, the Phils have also struggled to get the W recently. They dropped 6 out of their last 10 ball games, and their lineup's in the bottom 5 right now in strikeouts per game at home. Now, they're taking on Miles Michaelis on the other side of things, who's been real solid here in the first half of the season. Michaelis has 5 wins on the year, along with a .96 whip. He's also backed by these St. Louis hitters who can really pound the baseball. St. Louis is currently in the top 10 in scoring, top 10 in OPS. Now, Paul Goldschmidt, he's actually leading the majors right now with a .342 batting average. He's also second in the bigs in RBI and OPS. When it comes to the total, 7 out of St. Louis's last 10 meetings with Philadelphia fell under the number. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. They're also 63% to the under against National League opponents on the road. I'm going to lean toward the Cardinals minus 140 and the under 9.5. Next contest, it is going to be Marlins Nationals 605 East. Washington's minus 130, totals 9.5. Josiah Gray for Washington, Trevor Rogers for Miami. And even though Rogers has had a handful of dreadful appearances, he's still fanned 58 batters in just 63 innings of work. Meanwhile, as a team, the Marlins have won 5 out of their last 9. And they've also had sustained success against Washington in recent meetings. Miami's averaging nearly 5.5 runs a game in their last 10 contests against the Nats. And speaking of the Nationals, they've been terrible in their own ballpark this year. Out of Washington's 41 games at home, they got the W just 14 times. And that's good for a win percentage of just .341 in that category. Meanwhile, offensively, these guys literally have no power. They're actually in the bottom 5 in the league right now in home runs per contest. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Miami plus $110 and the over 9.5 runs. Next ball game, it is going to be Braves taking on the Reds, and that's going to be a 6:40 Eastern first pitch. Atlanta's minus 270 on the road, totals 9.5. Max Fried for the Braves, Mike Minor for Cincinnati. Now, Minor's been awful this season. He's lost 4 games already through just 25 plus. He's got a 7.71 ERA. Now, more recently as a team, the Reds dropped 7 out of their last 10. And their pitching staff allows more home runs per contest than any other team in the majors. They're taking on a powerful Braves lineup who leads the NL in home runs at the dish themselves. Austin Riley's got 18 home runs and 43 RBI. Meanwhile, Dansby Swanson's got 13 homers and leads the club in individual batting average. So once again, Swanson 13 homers, team leader in batting average. Now, Atlanta's also got a real good one on the mound here today in Max Fried. The lefty's 7-2 with a 2.77 ERA and a 1.05 whip. Now, Fried's also 8 strikeouts shy of the century mark for the season already. Now, total-wise, 2 out of Atlanta's last 3 road games got over the number. Meanwhile, the Reds are 7-3 to the over in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward Atlanta minus 1.5 and the over 9.5 runs. Next contest, a little divisional action here. I'm talking about Brewers Pirates 705 East. Milwaukee's minus $2 away from home, total 7.5. Corbin Burns for Milwaukee, Ronzi Contreras for Pittsburgh. Now, Ronzi's shown some pretty good stuff through 42-plus innings. Having said that, though, his whip has crept up to a 1.35, and he may not get a ton of run support here today. This Buccos lineup is averaging only 3.8 runs a game, and they're also in the bottom 3 in team batting average. Now, they're taking on Corbin Burns, who tends to just run hitters over with his fastball. The righty's got 119 strikeouts on the year, along with a .92 whip. Now, these Brewers hitters have also done a real nice job getting it out of the park. They're in the top 5 in home runs, and they're led by Rowdy Tellez, who's got 15 bombs on the year. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, the Brewers saw their last 3 on the road get over the posted number. They're also 8-2 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh, on the other side of things, they saw 3 out of their last 4 at PNC Park get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Milwaukee minus 1.5 and the over 7.5. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Yankees Guardians, 7:10 p.m. East. New York's minus 225, totals 8 runs. Garrett Cole for the Yankees, Aaron Savali for Cleveland. Now, Savali's only been a shell of himself this year. He's just 2-4 on the season with an ERA above 7. Now, the Guardians have also had a tough time cashing in on the run line at home recently. They actually failed to cover in 6 out of their last 8 at Progressive Field. So having a tough time covering that 1.5 in front of their home fans. Now they're taking on a dangerous Yankee lineup who leads the league in homers, and they score just about 5 runs a game. And speaking of home runs, Aaron Judge has a league best 29 homers, along with 59 runs batted in. Meanwhile, Anthony Rizzo's 6th in the majors with 21 round trippers himself. And when it comes to the Yankees pitching, well, I'll tell you what, they've been equally as spectacular. These guys really do it all on both, sides of the, dugout here. Now, Garrett Cole, he's 6-2 with a 2.99 ERA and a 1.01 WHIP. Cole's also punched out 111 batters in just over 87 innings. Now, total-wise, New York did go 60% to the under in their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, the Guardians saw 5 out of their last 8 at Progressive Field fall under the total. I'm going to lean toward the Yankees minus 1.5 and the under 8. Next ball game, it is going to be Royals Tigers, 7:10 p.m. East. This game's currently off the board. No confirmed starter yet here for the Tigers. Brad Keller for the Royals. Now, Keller just can't seem to catch a break this year. He's 2-9 on the season with a 4.56 ERA. The Royals have also lost 4 out of their last 5. And their lineup's being held to just 3.9 runs a game. Now, they're taking on a Detroit squad who won 3 out of their last 5 themselves. And that includes a 3-2 victory over San Francisco. Matter of fact, the Tigers averaged nearly 5 runs a game during that stretch of contests I just mentioned. And they're also currently led by Miggy Cabrera, who's hitting a team-leading 300 at the plate. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Tigers winning this one outright for some money line cash. All right, next contest I have for you, little interleague action here. I'm talking about the Rangers squaring off against the Mets. And that's going to be a 7:10 Eastern first pitch in Flushing, Queens. Now, the Mets are minus $2, totals 8.5. Chris Bassett for New York, Glenn Otto for Texas. And even though Otto's got a 4-3 record, he's certainly pitched ugly in many different spots. He's got a 5.31 ERA along with a WHIP that's above 1.50. And even if Otto does end up doing well today, we're looking at a Ranger lineup who's in the bottom 10 in OPS at the dish. They're also taking on Chris Bassett, who's got 6 wins on the season and a whole bunch of strikeouts. Right. Wow. Choking on my own spit for no reason. Bassett's got 95 strikeouts in just over 89 innings, and he also has a WHIP of just 1.15. Now, this Mets lineup has been quite impressive as well. They're averaging just about 5 runs a game, and they're also in the top 5 in team batting average. Jeff McNeil's hitting .323 at the plate. He's leading the club in that category. Meanwhile, Pete Alonso's got 22 home runs and leads the majors with 69 runs batted in. Now, total-wise, 6 out of New York's last 10 ball games did get over the number. They're also 61% to the over in their contests at Citi Field. Meanwhile, the Rangers went 4-1 to the over in their last 5 away games. I'm going to lean toward the Mets minus 1.5 and the under 8.5. Next contest, it is going to be Orioles Twins, 8:10 East. Minnesota's minus 225, totals 9 runs. Joe Ryan for Minnesota. Spencer Watkins for Baltimore. And as much as I want to root for Watkins here, he simply hasn't been good enough. He's got only one win through 35 innings, along with an ERA above 5.10. And as a team, the O's lost 3 out of their last 4 ball games, and they've actually had a real tough time getting on base. They're actually in the bottom 5 in strikeouts at the dish, and they also have one of the lowest team batting averages in the American League. They're also taking on Joe Ryan, who's been a stud for Minnesota this year. Ryan's 6-3 with a 3.20 ERA and a 1.12 WHIP. The Twins have also been a lot to handle offensively. They're in the top 10 in team batting average, and they're led by Luis Arias, who's second in the league with a 3.40 batting average. Meanwhile, Byron Buxton's handled the power side of things with 20 home runs. When it comes to the total, Minnesota's 19-16 to the over against American League competition at home. I'm going to lean toward the Twins -1.5 in the over 9. Next contest, Angels, Astros, 8:10 Eastern first pitch. Houston's -$1.55, totals 8 runs. Christian Javier for Houston, Michael Lorenzen for Los Angeles. Now, Lorenzen continues to find ways to win. He's got 6 wins on the year along with 52 strikeouts. The Angels have also won 3 out of their last 4. And they've cashed in on the run line in over 68% of their divisional road games. Mike Trout has a team leading 23 home runs. He's actually in the top 3 in the bigs in homers and OPS. Meanwhile, Shohei Ohtani has 17 home runs and a team leading 49 RBI. Now they're taking on a Houston club on the other side who actually struggles to cover the 1.5 at home. They're just 15-17 against the number at Minute Maid Park, and they're actually amongst the worst in the American League right now in home scoring. Matter of fact, this Houston lineup is actually in the bottom 10 in the majors right now in team batting average at the plate. When it comes to the number, Houston's gone 7-3 to the under in their last 10 outings. The Astros are also 21-11 to the under at Minute Maid Park this year. Meanwhile, Los Angeles went 80% to the under in their last 10 outings themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Angels +1.5, keeping this one close in the under 8 runs. Next contest, it is going to be D-backs Rockies, 8:10 Eastern start time. Colorado's -120, totals 11.5. Antonio Sensatella for Colorado, Merrill Kelly for Arizona. And as good as Kelly's been, his whip has crept up to a 1.30. Arizona also lost 7 out of their last 10, and they have one of the worst hitting lineups in the National League. They're currently in the bottom 3 in team batting average, and they're fanning nearly 10 times a game at the plate. And they're also taking on a Colorado team who scores a whole bunch of runs at Coors Field. C.J. Cron has a team-leading 17 home runs and 56 RBI. Now, Cron's 5th in the bigs in that RBI category. Meanwhile, teammate Charlie Blackmon's got a dozen home runs and 41 runs batted in himself. When it comes to the total, 6 out of Colorado's last 10 meetings with the D-backs got over the number. So once again, if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. Meanwhile, Arizona saw 4 out of their last 7 divisional road games get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Colorado -120 and the over 11.5. Next matchup, A's Mariners 10:10 East. Seattle's -185, totals 8 runs. Marco Gonzalez for Seattle, James Caprillion for Oakland. Now, Caprillion's given these guys no chance at winning ball games this year. He's a winless 0-5 with an ERA above 5.80. The A's have also lost 8 out of their last 10, and they simply can't get on base. They're dead last in the league in team batting average, and they're also scoring just 3.3 runs a game. They're also taking on Marco Gonzalez, who's shown some pretty good stuff despite his record. The lefty's currently got himself a 3.31 ERA, and the Red Hot Mariners, they've also won 8 out of their last 10 ball games, and they scored a considerable amount of runs in the process. Now, Ty France is hitting a team-leading .316 at the plate, along with 45 runs batted in. When it comes to the scoring in this one, 3 out of Seattle's last 4 home games got over the line. They also went 60% to the over in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Oakland saw 6 out of their last 10 get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Mariners minus 185 and the over 8.5 runs. Next contest, it is going to be Padres-Dodgers, 10-10 East. The LA Dodgers are minus 175, total 7.5. Tony Gonsolin for the Dodgers, Blake Snell for San Diego. Now, it looks like Blake Snell, took his money and ran. Got paid a lot by the Padres and hasn't produced. And I'll tell you what, for an extremely vocal guy, his play really just doesn't back it up. The has-been's a winless 0-5 on the year, and he has an ERA above 5.50. Now, the washed-up lefty also has been hurting his well-paying ball club as well with his 1.44 whip. Now, as a team, the Pods lost 5 out of their last 7 ball games, and they've had a tough time scoring runs against the Dodgers lately. San Diego's averaging just 2.4 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with Los Angeles, and that may continue here today as they're facing a near-perfect Tony Gonsolin. The righty's 9-0 in the season, along with a 1.58 ERA. Now, the Gons also has a whip of just .85. When it comes to offensive production, the Dodgers score more runs per contest than any other team in the majors. Mookie Betts has scored 52 times already and leads the club in home runs. Meanwhile, Trey Turner is hitting a team-best .305, along with 56 runs batted in. Now, total-wise, LA's gone 69% to the under in their divisional contests. Meanwhile, San Diego went 10-6 to the under in their divisional road games themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Dodgers minus 175 and the under 7.5. And with that, guys, I'm going to jump into my next and final free pick for the video. It is going to be White Sox taking on the Giants. That's going to be a 10:15 Eastern start time. San Francisco's minus 150, total 7.5. Alex Cobb for the Giants, Lance Lynn for Chicago. Now, Lynn's got just 16 innings of work under his belt, and they've been pretty dreadful. He's got an ERA above 6, along with a 1.44 whip. The White Sox have also consistently struggled at the dish. They're currently in the bottom 10 in scoring, and they're also amongst the worst home run hitting teams in the American League. They're taking on Alex Cobb here today for the Giants, who struck out 53 batters in just 46 innings. So strikeouts are up a little bit here for Cobb, averaging a little bit over a strikeout an inning. Now, Cobb's also backed by these Giants hitters who are in the top 3 in runs per game. Now, Jock Peterson's got a club-leading 17 home runs. Wilmer Flores has 40 RBI as well. When it comes to the total, San Francisco's 22-16 to the over at Oracle Park. Meanwhile, Chicago's 20-17 to the over in their travels. I'm going to lean toward the Giants minus 150 and the over 7.5. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where I'm 2-0 my last 2 board member tier package bets. I like Boston minus 135 over 9 runs. Give me Toronto minus 145 over 9. St. Louis minus 140 under 9.5. Miami Marlins plus $1.10 over 9.5. Atlanta minus 1.5 over 9.5. Milwaukee minus 1.5 over 7.5 runs. New York Yankees minus 1.5 under 8. Give me Detroit winning that game outright for some money line cash. I like the Mets minus 1.5 under 8.5 runs. Give me Minnesota minus 1.5 over 9. LA Angels plus 1.5 under 8 runs. Colorado minus 120 over 11.5. Seattle minus 185 over 8.5 runs. LA Dodgers minus 175 under 7.5. And with my next and final free pick for the video, I'm going to lean toward the Giants minus 150 in the over 7.5 runs. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, guys, if you do end up deciding to get a membership here today on my website, just keep in mind you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on my safe and secure website, you're going to get access to that membership every single day, all the way until August 1st. It's a max value Friday. This is the absolute best time to sign up. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, if you want to get access to every single bet that I offer on my website, you may want to think about signing up for my board member package. Not only do board members get access to the board member tier package bet itself, they also get access to every single bet, every single package, every single day, all the way through August 1st as well. It's an all-inclusive membership. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. What I do on patreon.com/BrockPage is actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. Now, guys, you may be concerned about your credit card information. You're probably definitely concerned about me seeing your credit card info. Well, that's not going to happen. I utilize the Patreon platform. They handle all your personal and financial info. There's no way that I could see your credit card info or any of your personal information for that matter. There's no way for me to access it. So you are completely protected from me. All you're going to see is the content that I produce. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.